We got cut off there, so I am going to continue with the cartilages of the larynx and how they work with the whole system here. So we have the inner arytenoid muscle. The lateral cricoarytenoid pulls forward and down on the muscle process, and this rotates the muscle process in. The cricothyroid causes the thyroid cartilage to rock forward, and it increases the distance between the anterior and posterior attachment of the vocal fold. So on the back here, the vagus nerve supplies everything laryngeal and all the intrinsic muscles, except for the cricothyroid. It supplies to the larynx to receive a nerve supply from the recurrent laryngeal nerve. The cricothyroid is supplied by the superior laryngeal nerve. Next, we're going to talk about the myoelastic aerodynamic theory of phonation. So basically, this states that once the necessary components for phonation are achieved, and these are adduction, medial compression, longitudinal tension, subglottal pressure, which has reached its phonatory threshold, phonation will begin with the phonatory threshold basically blowing the vocal folds apart. Air will rush through the glottal space here, and when this happens, the Bernoulli effect on the vocal folds, because there's the increase of the velocity of air, will basically cause a decrease in pressure against the sides of the constriction, the vocal folds. And when there's a drop in pressure against the sides of the vocal folds and the decrease in pressure, the vocal folds are no longer held open, but they're sucked back together. Sorry, I lost my place on my paper. All right, so subglottal pressure will build back up. And this will, again, blow the vocal folds apart. The pressure will drop, and they'll get sucked back together, and so on. This actually happens 100 or more times per second. And the mucosal wave is another thing we're going to talk about. It is the movement pattern of the vocal folds during phonation. And so basically they move inferiorly to superiorly. And that is it. Thank you so much for joining me today, and we look forward to seeing you next week, which we will be talking about different issues in speech language pathology.